Pinoy rider.
RJ here, I'm back. And we have Duarne Bernhagen. Should I call you what, Duarne or DJ?
Just call me DJ if you like.
Anyway, a few questions, okay?
Sure.
Why bikes? What's with bikes that you like?
The bikes are just so much more fun. Every time we go out on a bike, there's a rush of the air. You're just enjoying the ride, the feel of the air in your face and the sound of the engines. I have multiple bikes, as you can see, and every bike gives me a different experience.
So practically, you're a bike lover.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. Safe to say.
Look at all your bikes. And for the viewers' information, these are just but a handful of his bikes in his place.
Yeah, well, I just put some of the rideable, complete bikes out here today. These are my big bikes. So I've got mostly Japanese bikes is what I like to ride and I like to own. Just for the quality generally, but also the design that goes into them. And I love the retro older style bikes. So I've got a 99, 94, 84. I've got another 84 over the back there. And over behind me here, I've got a 1982.
Why old bikes?
Well, for an everyday use, it's super convenient. But when you go out for a weekend or you just want to go for a night ride and you just want to chill ride, the old bikes are just awesome. They're so much fun, they're classic, and they're affordable. Like, if you compare like how much you spend for a new bike versus a couple of older bikes, yes, you're going to be doing some repairs and you probably won't use them every day because the parts are a bit more expensive and they're more likely to have an issue every now and again. But it's character. The big blue guy here, the Yamaha, and they all look so small when they sit on it.
It's a big bike. It's literally a big looking bike.
It's massive. It's a 1300cc, so V4. So we're talking about some serious power there. And
It's the Royal Star. I think they pitted this with the gold wing, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And the classics of the ultra classics of the Harley, right?
That's right. It's designed in that super bagger model with the big engine, super comfort level for the passenger and also the rider.
And with speakers.
Absolutely. Well, mine's been retrofitted with some Bluetooth speakers.
Waterproof, right? Climate proof?
Absolutely. So I've got marine grade speakers in there that you normally use in a boat, just in case, you know, they get wet. Because we're going to be riding in the rain occasionally. You want to be prepared for that.
What's your favorite bike amongst your bike?
I'd have to say it'd be my Magna. It's a 1984. It's probably the first proper big bike I added to my collection that was complete.
How many cc's?
It's a 500cc, so it's a pretty rare model in that sense. It's a V4, and I've got 3 V4s in my kit, but that one there is really unique, being a V4 that sits inside the chassis at 500cc. They use the same engine in that, I believe, in a couple of their sports style bikes like the VRFs at the time as well.
Magna, for the viewers' information, I think they made the first muscle bike.
Yeah, I believe they were some of the first that Honda put out into the marketplace.
Actually, they were first before the VMAX of Yamaha.
Yeah, and it has the most forgiving clutch.
Easier than the Virago of Yamaha?
I would say so. I find the Virago myself, as the physical size I am, it's a very tight fit for me.
It's small, it's a little bit compact.
It is. It's a compact design. And I like the little bit wider stature of a Magna for me.
Most Japanese bike in the 80s are narrow.
That's right. And this was one of the wide bikes of the era, which was, you know, a little bit tough looking. And they weren't fancy. They didn't have anything too crazy going on, but they were water cooled.
And they're quick. They're quick. They're quick.
Like my little bike there is geared up to, you know, get to 100 in no time at all. And much more than that, yeah, you can change your gearing to suit, but it's a chill bike to ride. It's 500cc.
Anyway, what made you ride bikes? I mean, when did you learn that you wanted to have bikes?
Well, look, I'd have to say, I fell in love with bikes as a kid when I'd get my dad's old two-wheel magazines and I'd be flicking through and reading up on all the latest bikes that were out and about. And these things were amazing. I was like, oh, it's such a cool bike. One day I want to own a bike. And Dad had, you know, an old FJ 1100.
The semi-sport, right?
That's it. And, you know, it was a big bike and it was a fun bike.
I think half fairing, right?
Yeah, it was a half fairing model. We came from a not well-off family, but a comfortable family back in Australia in Queensland. So I remember as a young kid, I'd be sitting on the tank And Mum and Dad would show me photos years later, and I'd be sitting up in the tank and Dad would ride us around the streets and stuff. And then later on, Dad had to sell it because, you know, circumstances, you know. Later on, when he bought himself a katana, I think it was like 750 katana at the time.
What, the 89 katana, something like that?
Something around the 80s era, yeah. He owned that during the 90s.
It's a nice bike, actually.
Great bike, and he really enjoyed riding. And
I remember the ads, the magazine ads, right?
Yeah.
It used to be red or maroonish.
He had like the
with Japanese character.
That's it. Yeah. His was a black, silver, red model. Just a cool bike. When I became a teenager, my friends got a bike, dirt bikes, and I started learning how to ride them. Popped the front, dropped the bike, broke the turn signal. Very apologetic.
But you didn't break a bone.
I didn't break a bone.
That's what's important.
My ego was a little bit bruised. But you know what? You think you're invincible, and then you're like, you know what? If I'd fallen and broken my leg, I
could always heal.
Exactly.
Anyway, DJ.
Go ahead.
I see you have so many bikes here.
Yes.
How long have you been customizing bikes?
Coming on 2.5 years now.
Here in Davao, right?
Here in Davao, yeah.
How many years have you been here?
6.5 years now.
You're in love with the place.
I do. I fell in love with the Philippines, and Davao, I set up a business here doing web design and some outsourced staffing, and I kind of got a little bit bored because things were, you know, going well. And I had the chance to meet some people, like my current builder mechanic, and I already had contact with my painter who'd done some work on some cars for me here. And I thought, why don't we do some bikes? We'll customize a couple of bikes. People started to like what we did, so we turned it into a business, and now it's a passion business.
The most important thing is you're not losing anything and you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the information of the viewers, you know, most of his bikes are iconic bikes. The Royal Star is an iconic bike for the Star family of Yamaha. This is an iconic bike.
ST1100,
right?
From 1994. This
Honda, right?
model. That's it, Honda.
Most policemen in the US, I think, and Europe ride this.
That's right. In UK especially, this was used as an ambulance and police bike. And if you look up on the videos where you've got police officers doing the tightest little corners and figure eights on obstacle courses with this bike.
Good handling bike.
Absolutely. And like, the dry weight on this is about 300 kilos. It's very maneuverable because the tank sits down under the seat.
Center of gravity is in the middle, right?
That's right. And up where the tank is actually an air filter.
Just like the Virago 535, right?
Exactly. And the engine is a V4 across the frame, which is also a rare combination. If you look at the Goldwing, that's a flat engine as opposed to the V. That's 1100cc. That's bigger than what goes in most of your multicabs here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The bike is quick. I mean, we are talking about the gauge measures at 220, but
you ridden it for 220?
No, I haven't done to 220, but I have stretched it once or twice at about 160, 170.
That's fast.
It is fast.
That's fast.
And it doesn't feel that fast because you've got the windshield. That windshield is deceptive when you're sitting behind it. You can be riding in heavy rain and you don't get that wet.
Because of the windshield.
The windshield.
And by the way, what do you wear when you ride?
Pretty much what I'm wearing right now.
Oh.
Shoes. Always wear shoes.
You're like a beach goer, huh? You like
Pretty
shorts and t-shirts.
So what I do though is I normally have a long sleeve I'll throw over the top just to try and block some of that sunlight. Always wear gloves.
Yeah.
You know, just making sure if I do hit the ground or have to put my hand out, I've got some protection on my hands.
No gratering.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminded me of one thing. When it comes to motorcycle riding, it doesn't matter how good a rider you are, it's about every other person on the road. You've got to be watching what they're doing, because it only takes one mistake of someone else, and you've got to react to that. And if you don't need enough space, if you aren't, you know, in a position to get around them, if you're not paying attention to the road, these things can really affect you.
So that's your tip for bikers, for new riders, right?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. You know, make sure your bike is safe, make sure you've got good tires, make sure your brakes work, your lights work, make sure you're visible. You know, I wear a vest most of the time when I ride here.
Reflective vest.
Reflective, just to make sure that if I'm out at night, they can see me and there's no excuse. I have a decent quality Bell helmet. They fit my head really well.
Your shop, you call this Bolt Cycles?
Yeah, Bolt Cycles.
Why Bolt Cycles? I mean, where'd you coin the name from?
It was kind of funny. We just came up with it and thought it sounds good and let's stick with it. There was no real, you know, thought beyond that went into it. I didn't want to have anything to do with customs when I first started. It was more just buy and sell, fix up some bikes on the side, do my own personal bike. And then there was more demand for customizing. So, and the cost of customizing a bike was close to restoring a bike.
Restoring a bike.
So.
Anyway, what's with riding? You want like long distance riding, short riding? How do you feel? You know about that?
Look, whenever I get on a bike, it's a rush. You got the rush of the air, the adrenaline rushing through you, just the excitement to get out. But as far as where you're going, it doesn't matter for me. Like, I love short rides. Like, if I'm riding from here up to Langub to get some coffee or a meal, I'm good with that. If I go down to, near Eden and one of the cafes down there and get something
You're
to snack,
happy.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
That was perfect. For me, it's not so much about where you're going.
It's not the destination.
It's not the destination. It's about going for that ride.
So you prefer straight or winding, mountain roads?
Straight roads are boring. I mean, we all, after a while, you will get bored of them, but they're good for opening the bike occasion. I think you need to mix it.
I think you need to decarbonize the bike, so you need to open it a little
Absolutely.
bit. Yeah.
You need to get out and you need to try different roads out. You make sure whatever bike you're going to do a long ride on, you be comfortable to ride that distance. Otherwise, you're creating a lot of hassle for yourself long term.
You're not gonna enjoy it anymore.
No, you're not. And that's it. Just ride at the speed you're comfortable with, ride at your limitation, and know the limitation of your bike. Just try and be safe and every time you go out and enjoy it.
That's what's important. Ride safely, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's nice to ride alone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to ride fast. Sometimes you just want to ride slow. Sometimes you want to go and just smell the beach when you're out riding.
That's true.
You don't have to ride what everyone else wants you to ride. If your choice is to ride a Raider, then ride a Raider. If your choice is to ride a scooter,
Ride a scooter.
ride a scooter. There is plenty of big CC scooters out there now as well.
There are 600cc scooters
That's right.
already. Anyway, in line with this, do you have any tips, any messages for new riders? Greet somebody, some shout out?
Sure. I think as a new rider, just ride what you're comfortable with. Don't care about the brands as much as everybody else may. Comfortable with what your speed you're doing and the handling you're doing. Practice makes better. Go on a group ride. You'll be surprised what you learn on a group ride. But make sure that the people you're riding with know your experience level so that they can help prepare you for that. And make sure you wear safety gear. Like to say thank you so much to RJ for having me today. Thanks to the team at Bolt Cycles. And thank you to my lovely wife, who is ever so supportive of my quest to own all the bikes in Davao.
Your passion.
That's right.
Your passion.
And I just really big thanks to all my team for making sure my bikes do remain as well maintained
And as good
running.
looking as they are.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's always fun. If you have a bike and you do want to get it customized, change the color, whatever it be, a small bike, large bike, come and have a chat to us at Bolt Cycles and we may be able to help you out.
Anyway, Duarne, thank you so much for having us here in your place. RJ again, for The Rush by The Racing Line. Vamos, muchachos.
Thanks,
Thank
bro.
you.
Pare-parehas ang habol natin sa buhay. Kasiyahan, kapanatagan, kalayaan. Di ako susuko hanggat makamtan. Kaya ang langis na gamit ko, Shell Advance. May kumpletong proteksyon para sa makina. Para ma-maximize ang horsepower at ma-enhance ang fuel economy. Para maabot ang mga habol mo sa buhay. Sulong Pinoy Rider.